Welcome to Goodbye 20s, where parenting is not picture perfect. It is a full blown circus. We will cover the chaos, hilarity, and shocking moments that come with raising kids. Let's dive into the kind of stories you just can't make up. This week, we're going to focus on childhood memories. And a little bit more specifically, I've been trying to be more intentional about creating childhood memories for our kids and just doing things that help kind of shape their childhood and almost like a ritual, something that you do regularly that they look forward to. And I read a book that kind of inspired some of these ideas, but it's called The Memory Making Mom. I've just been listening to it as an audiobook in the car, like dropping kids off and listening to it on my way, but it's really like inspired some posts that I've done in the last week.
Yeah, and I feel like the posts have been good, and it's been like just really interesting to talk about what you've learned in that book. Like it's crazy how much like you look back at your childhood and you remember those memories. And like I think, people talk about like core memories a lot, and it feels like a lot of those fun traditions are almost always ingrained as like a core memory.
Yeah. So I think the easiest ones that I first think of, or when both of us were talking about childhood memories, are centered around holidays.
For sure.
But if you think about it, that is like the concept and the idea is something that you do during a specific time over and over and over again.
Yep.
So the idea of the book is kind of incorporating that idea into everyday life. So we talked about it together and thought of some new ones to add to our routine with our kids, just to kind of, I feel like I actually look forward to them too. But from a kid's perspective, when you incorporate childhood traditions and rituals into your life, it's an extra layer of routine.
For sure. And kids like definitely thrive on the routine, especially our kids.
Yes. It also like helps you have something to look forward to.
For sure.
So, doing something on a Thursday or a Tuesday that would just be any other sort of regular day kind of adds an extra layer of fun to that.
Yep. And it just like you said, it makes it fun where it's a couple things we've definitely added. We've done the family meeting on Sunday nights.
Mhm.
And, a lot of that was about like trying to get a little bit of order into like some of the chaos that comes with our like our kids and our family. But now our kids like totally look forward to it. And I think you learned a fun like tradition with that was like you grabbed that, you made a special plate that we put a snack on for the kids during family meeting. And they like for the entire week, for the last 4 weeks have been like, oh, are we doing family meeting this weekend? Like what's the snack gonna be? And that like has like achieved the like intent we were looking for with like having a family meeting to talk about like certain things, and then b like it's building that tradition that they're enjoying.
Family meeting has been super good. I didn't know if our kids would be into it because it's not that exciting.
Yeah.
Like
No, it's definitely not that exciting.
we did our first meeting kind of talking about the structure that every meeting would have. So every family meeting, we do this on Sunday nights. So every family meeting has a theme to it. So the theme could be, what are our family values? The theme could be, share something that you love about each other, share something that you're proud of. So every week has a theme. So we start with a theme. Then we move into going over the upcoming week because it's on Sunday night. So it sets the week up really nicely. It's like, what do we have going on during the week? What are we having for dinners? What are the chores that the kids are doing? And so they kind of know what's going on in the upcoming week. Then the next part is we go over problem solving. So those have been fairly small lately. Like, I don't think the kids have come up with any problems yet, but the problem solving, I think, is going to be a really big part of it as the kids get older.
Yeah, I think so too. And it's also like I think it's helped reinforce like some of the things that we want them to like work on. Like our kids are very loud around the house. Like I feel like they love just like having fun. And we've been enforcing like let's keep quiet voices inside the house, and we keep continually bringing that up, and it does feel like it's getting a little bit better.
Yeah.
Um and but the tradition of the dessert has been like fun for us because we get to plan it, and
Hmm.
then the kids have just been like thoroughly enjoying it.
Yeah. And they've been asking about family meetings, like, or they'll talk about something that we talked about during family meeting.
Yeah,
And so I don't know, I think they're considering it to be a special
for
thing.
sure.
And it also is teaching them a lot of skills. It's teaching them communication, it's teaching them problem solving skills
Yep.
because even though they haven't brought problems to us yet, we're talking about like how do we solve a problem? What is a constructive solution to bring to a problem? So we've taught them that. And I think those are skills that are
Yeah,
super important to teach kids.
for sure. And then like, talking through our family values, like reiterating that stuff has been huge. But no, I think that's been awesome. I'm glad we started doing that. Um, what are like some of your favorite family like traditions from growing up?
I One thing that we said we want to start doing that both of us did in our childhoods is visit the same location every year as a little vacation. Doesn't have to be a huge vacation. You don't have to go to Hawaii every summer, although I would love to do that.
I'm sure you would.
That's just very expensive.
Correct.
But growing up, my family, we went camping so much, but we did do one camping trip, and this is with my mom's childhood friends growing up. So it was three families together, and everyone had kids, and we did that my whole life, even until my early 20s,
Yeah,
I
I
think.
like got to go on a couple of them when we
Yeah.
first started dating. Like,
Yeah.
and those are fun. And I think like, like I guess a callback to that, like a bunch of your core memories from like your like childhood and your brothers, like you guys always bring up stories from those camping trips.
Mhm.
Like, and it's always like there's always a ton of laughs that come from that. So like totally just ties back to like just the fact that you guys continually did that, you built those relationships and like fun memories.
Mhm.
And we did something super similar. Like we would always go up to the mountains in Colorado where I grew up, and my grandparents would rent a condo that we would bring like three families into the condo and all stay there, and everyone had their own room. And it was all like not everyone had their own room. Every family
It'd be a huge
that would be a
house.
huge house. Every family had their own room, so it was like cramped, like, but it was awesome because you'd like have your little room in the condo, and your family would hang out there, and we would make like certain foods. Like my grandmother was English, and they made these like pastries that were called patsies or pasties, I think they might be called, and those were like really fun. So those were like really fun childhood memories from growing up, and we're definitely going to plan on like doing that with our family. We like talked about that in our last family meeting. Like, where should our location be?
Where's our spot gonna be?
Yep. And Tatum was like, Hawaii. And we're like, no, we're not. Or like, Disney. And we're like,
Yeah, I
no.
know.
Like
Something
dollar signs just
drivable.
started like popping into my head.
I think
Um,
we talked about doing Chelan, which is a lake near us. It's super fun. There's a water park there. Super fun, like restaurants, wineries,
for sure.
beach. But now that we're talking about it, I also feel like Seabrook, which is a little ocean town, we went to for the first time last summer, and that was super fun.
Yeah. Seabrook would be super fun again.
It's like the cutest, picturesque town. It's a newer development, and all the houses are such a cute coastal style and all these different bright colors. And there's a street full of little shops and
Yeah,
restaurants and coffee
for
shops.
sure. Walkable, lots of things for the kids to do. Like,
Hmm.
yeah, I think you might have just sold me on that
Yeah. So either one.
for sure.
I also from the book learned why family traditions are so important, and it's just so sweet. It just helps kids with their self-worth and their like image of themselves, knowing that they're special and that their mom and dad are planning something and doing something just for them. So even something as simple as if you choose to make pancakes every Saturday, or you do a special dinner once in a while and light the candles, or whatever it is, you're showing your kids that they're valued and they're worth it, and helps their self-esteem grow and their confidence
Yeah,
grow.
for sure.
Very sweet.
It is super sweet. I mean, like one thing that your family did that you started doing for me when we started dating was like you guys like treat birthdays like way more elaborate than my family did growing up, and it's like really fun to feel special like that. Like you do your birthday breakfast where like every birthday now I get like my favorite breakfast, like, and you always wake up and make it for me. Like
What is your favorite
it
breakfast?
it's always the cinnamon rolls from a can, which
Yep.
is tacky, I know, but I love it. Like the
Mhm.
Pillsbury cinnamon rolls,
Mhm.
and then like some good bacon,
Mhm.
um,
Like a thick
like a
cut,
thick cut
fancy
bacon,
bacon.
and then like really any sort of like hash browns and like eggs over medium.
Mhm. Yep. And that's your breakfast.
Yep. And that's like I look forward to my birthday like for like a month coming up to it just
Mhm.
for like that, like the way I get treated on my birthday.
Mhm. I also love that we started doing Taco Tuesdays.
Taco Tuesdays is a blast.
Yeah, and the family traditions don't have to be these elaborate, crazy Pinterest-worthy moments. It can literally be as simple as choosing one night a week to make the same meal.
For sure.
So we debated back and forth on spaghetti Sundays or Taco Tuesdays.
Because you love an alliteration.
Yeah, there we go.
Ta- and Taco Tuesdays like are perfect.
But Taco Tuesday, what I think sold you Tatum, our 7-year-old, was really going for the spaghetti night. But with tacos, there's so many different kinds of tacos you can make. And every once in a while, we can go out for
For
tacos,
sure.
which who does not love going out for margaritas and chips and salsa?
Yeah, I don't know anybody that
Like
doesn't like a
literally
good,
my favorite thing to
yeah,
go get at a restaurant,
for sure.
for sure. I'll never turn down a margarita and chips and
A
salsa.
spicy margarita.
Spicy margarita, tahini rim. So good. My
And I'm
favorite.
for sure. I'm the OG. Like, give me the salt on the rocks, and I'm happy.
Okay, we're going to move on. We're going to pivot just a little bit. We're sticking in the same theme of childhood memories. However, we're going kind of back into the humorous zone of sharing just some viral stories that have gone on in the world of social media about things that have happened to people in their childhood. That is just wild. Absolutely wild. I found two really good videos. So we're going to play the audio on here, and then the video that will be linked will have the actual video on it so you can see it. The first video is a 3-minute long story, but I feel like I picked it because it's so good. And the girl telling it is a really great storyteller. So it's worth going through the whole 3 minutes of this story because it's wild.
All right.
And I'm not even gonna give you background. Like we're just gonna dive into this story.
One time when I was in third grade, they was trying to hold me back. This is back before they did that no child left behind shit and you really can't fail kids anymore. This is back when they really failed fucking kids and they didn't give a shit. So this lady was like, your daughter's behind in reading. We're going to have a meeting. And I remember sitting in the class that day and she said, well, we've asked your mother to be here. And I was like, that's a mistake. I was in third grade and I knew it was a mistake. I looked at that lady and I said, you don't want her here. I don't want her here. Nobody wants her here. I remember saying that clearly to them. They didn't get the memo. I remember them coming to get me. We get down to this room that has this circular table in it. Okay? Mom's not there yet. And it's just the assistant principal, my teacher, and me. And I'm sitting in a chair. There's this newspaper, I guess from the meeting before, that's in the middle of the fucking thing. Well, she ends up coming in. And I knew she was in a bad mood. She had been out drinking the night before. She was pissed. She was in some jogging pants that had paint on them, no bra, a big ass t-shirt, and she was like, as soon as she opened that door, she said, "Why the fuck am I here?" And I knew by that "why the fuck am I here" that somebody was getting fucked up. I was just hoping it wasn't going to be me. I'm kind of glad it wasn't this day. So they end up sitting my mom down, and there tell she's irate. She's hung the fuck over. She's got these sunglasses on with this big ass puffer coat. I don't know what the fuck. And let me tell you, the jogging pants were bright ass green. I don't know. That's just what she chose to wear to a fucking meeting. So we're in there, and they're like, "We're gonna fail her. We're holding her back for third grade because she can't read." My mom said, "You ain't fucking failing her." And they said, "Ma'am, we have to. She's not reaching grade level, blah, blah, blah." My mom said, "Nobody's failing my kid." And grabs the paper, slams it in front of me. She said, so then my mom says, "You read this, motherfucker, and you read this now. And if you miss a fucking word, I'm knocking your fucking teeth down your throat, whooping this bitch, and I'm going to jail for the night and going to bed." She was not lying. I knew she would do this, so I read the whole fucking paragraph, didn't miss a fucking beat. And then my mom looked at that lady and said, "I told you she can fucking read. She's not being failed." That lady kept getting smart. My mom said, "You got one more time to be smart with me." And I looked at that lady and I was like, she's about to get fucked up. Because I seen my mom do this shit at home with the people in the neighborhood. I knew what was about to happen. She's getting madder and madder. I was like, we need to go. Like in my head, I'm like, this is not a good situation, you know? Well, my mom, she ended up saying one more smart thing to my mom. My mom ended up grabbing her over the table, slamming her on her head, and holding her down until they literally, I think she held her captive, her, and my mom, or me, my mom, and that girl, the assistant principal, was in the office until the cops come in and got my mom. It was a hostage situation. She's never allowed on any in the local school, public school systems properties. None of them. And this happened when I was like in third grade, and I'm 39 now. She still can't be on there. Doesn't matter for what. She can't. She'll go to jail. And I'll never forget that day that those police busted through. Thank God my grandma had guardianship of me, because I don't know how to fuck.
That was well worth the 3 minutes.
I told you.
Wow.
You don't even know where to start.
I really like how she just summed it up at the end of like, it was a straight up like hostage situation.
Yeah.
Like to talk about like getting that mom on like the wrong day. Like I love how she told that story. That was really good.
I actually give props to the mom for showing up though.
Oh yeah.
Like at least she showed up.
Yep.
She showed up angry.
Yep.
But
yeah, she was there. She was like, "You're not going to hold my kid back." She knew her kid could read. She was like standing on her principle of like, "You're not holding her back because she can't read. I'll prove that she can read."
Yeah.
Like,
but I cannot imagine that situation happening in a school.
Can you imagine that happening like modern day? She said she's 39 now. So that was 25
that was
plus
like
years
80s,
ago.
90s, like stuff going on.
Oh, like, yeah, that happening now would be like insane.
Yeah. I mean, I taught for like 7 years, and I was a school counselor for a handful of years. And we definitely had some parents that we could not meet with alone. There had always had to be an administrator to meet like with us. And there would be situations that we'd have certain parents that we just knew would try to get around that system and try and bypass the front office and get up to the counselor's office and come in hot. And so our poor attendance lady who sat by the front doors to the school just knew this. It was a short list of people, but she knew there's a short list of people. She knew what they looked like. She knew their names, and she knew she had to be on the lookout for them because they would just try to beeline it up to
just
us.
Straight up to you. And like, what were they like trying to like have a conversation about? Like my kids having like trouble in this class, or like
it was high school. So, I mean, grades related problems. It was actually often problems with the teacher.
Oh yeah.
Them feeling like a teacher is not treating their kid fairly or calling them out in class. A lot of heated situations of like student to student things going on, or who knows.
Just like I'm getting in there and I'm talking to that counselor.
Yeah, like we have all the power apparently.
Yeah. That's awesome.
But
that poor like front desk lady.
And I mean, there were situations that she had to call up, and she would call the attendants person would call the counseling secretary and be like, I just saw so and so come through the doors. I already told administration about it, but like, Bree needs to go hide.
Red alert, red alert.
And we would have this secret little passageway. There was like a couple ways that we could kind of like sneak out. And we would just kind of like slip out the side door, go hide in the staff lounge. And then the counseling secretary would have to be like, she's just not here. She's in a meeting. And they would kind of like peek their head around the
little
doorway
divider.
and look into the office to really make sure that we were gone or we weren't there. And
Oh, that's hilarious.
wild.
That's a crazy story that she shared though. Like, full on hostage situation. Like,
I also really like the description of the mom. The no bra, lime green joggers, paint stains,
Oh, yeah.
hungover.
yeah, and like she knew her mom so well that she was like, this isn't gonna go well. Like,
I know.
she's all, it's either gonna be me or one of them, and I hope it's not me.
I know. And the poor, I mean, that girl probably has gone through some stuff.
For sure.
And now she lived with her grandma. So I guess that was probably better, hopefully.
Childhood memory. There, some are good, some are crazy.
Yes. All right. Next video. Also very good. I feel like both of the videos I chose are a little bit childhood trauma, dark humor style. But we got to put some good drama
Yeah, we
in
gotta
there to listen to.
and keep it comical.
Yes. The next one, actually, just as crazy as the first story.
It's gonna take a lot to live up to that one.
It's really good.
My grandmother left me home alone on my 10th birthday in Ohio to fly back to her home in Connecticut because she just wanted to go home. This is my favorite story to tell people and my mom's least favorite story to hear because this is her mother-in-law. My grandmother, may she rest in peace, just a real good like showing of the sign of the times, being Irish Catholic, maybe not a whole lot of maternal instincts, but still went on to have 5 kids. So let's take it back to 2010. My brother had a hockey tournament in Prague. And so my mom and my brother went to Prague for like 10 days. And my dad happened to have like a work conference out of state. So they had prearranged for my grandma to fly in from Connecticut and come and watch me in Ohio. It was April, so I had school, I had dance, like all that kind of stuff. Okay, let me set the scene for you, right? So at the end of this week that my grandma's watching me, I don't know if you recall, but in April 2010, there happened to be a volcanic eruption in Iceland. Yeah. This then ground all the flights across Europe, which meant that my mom and brother got stuck in London. So, of course, my mom's like making the international call to my dad, like, okay, you need to call your mom. She needs to stay with Quinn because originally they were supposed to get in like the day before my birthday. They weren't going to get in until like the day after my birthday. And my dad's like, yeah, of course, like I'll get her on the phone. I'll switch her flight to the day after Quinn's birthday. Apparently, my dad gets her on the phone and she's like, yeah, no, I'm going to go ahead and leave. And my dad's like, what do you mean you're going to leave? She's turning 10. She can't be left home alone. And my grandma's like, yeah, no, I just want to go home. I'm kind of over it. So I wake up on my 10th birthday. My grandma had taken a cab to the airport. It was just a note on the counter. It was like, thanks for a great week. Happy birthday. Love you. It was the first time I was like left like actually home alone. Like my house is just completely dead silent on my 10th birthday. You know, this is like pre-phone. Like all I have is a DS. Like I don't know what to do with myself. And then I get like a ring on the doorbell. And of course I'm not allowed to answer the door, but then they keep ringing it. And then I look and it's all my little neighbor friends on my front porch. Because obviously my mom got word that my grandma left me home alone at 10 years old on my 10th birthday. And she like told my neighbors and they like coordinated like a little birthday dinner for me. But yeah, so if you don't think that you have like a maternal instinct, maybe don't go on to just like have kids for the sake of it, because I don't think like it'll click when you have grandkids then. Again, Maureen, may she rest in peace. Love you, girly. That wasn't cool though.
that most definitely was not cool. I love how she's just like, nope, I'm not doing it. I'm over this and I'm going home.
I wonder what the grandma had going on back home.
Oh, she definitely had like a boyfriend or something.
A boyfriend or a special bingo night that she was really looking forward to.
Or like didn't have any of her DVR'd shows from back then. Like she's like, I missed out on all of my gossip. Like
I cannot believe a grandma would just leave a 10-year-old home alone.
I can't either. I mean, 10 is definitely too young to be home alone.
Especially
Especially,
overnight.
yeah, overnight. And like the dad like didn't even question it because he just knew his mom wasn't going to do it.
Yeah.
Like,
And I mean, some 10-year-olds I feel like are okay home alone.
yeah,
So she could have been responsible and mature for a few hours.
for sure.
Definitely not an entire day
No.
or overnight.
Yeah. And like, especially with the situation, like mom's stuck in Europe, dad's like gone, who knows when he's getting home. Like, no, I'm just leaving.
And on her
I
birthday,
know.
a really big birthday.
Just in a note too, to just be like, thanks for the fun week, like happy birthday later.
I know. I am grateful she had her
Yeah.
neighbor friends to celebrate and keep her company.
Oh that would have been such a bummer if like she didn't have those type of friends in the neighborhood, just like chilling at your house by yourself on your 10th birthday. And like you said, that's like a big milestone. Like when you're that age, like I feel like 10's big, 16's big, like 21's really big. And then after that, like all your birthdays are kind of just like blah.
I like that she said, it was just me and my Switch.
Yeah.
Just me and my Nintendo.
Or DS. Switch wasn't around back then.
Okay, just me and my Nintendo. Playing some like Mary Kate and Ashley horseback riding
for sure.
games.
Yeah, I'm not gonna do that. I'll see you later. I'm not staying there with you. And the dad was just like, just without skipping a beat, just like, what do you mean? And she's like, no, I'm not going. And he's like, yeah, that's pretty typical, mom. Like that's what you did with me. I liked what she said. Like, if you didn't have maternal instincts, like when you were a parent, like it's not gonna kick in when you're a grandparent.
No. And she had 5 kids. Just, see ya.
Later.
Okay, those are my 2 stories that I had to share. So I had you pick one from Reddit, I believe.
I did. I
to
picked one
read.
from Reddit. It's not a story. It's not as cool as yours, but I picked what I think is like a really funny like tradition that it's like borderline like you might do it, but it also seems like a little bit dangerous is how I'll start it.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a holiday tradition, which a lot of them are, like we talked about.
Mm-hmm.
And the commenter on Reddit says, at Christmas, we have a barefoot race around the house, and the finishing order is the order that the presents get opened in.
Oh.
And he says, it was fun when there were only 6 of us, but now that we all have kids, it's a freaking blast.
Mm.
And there were a lot of comments that were really funny, that like the OP responded to, so you could get a sense of like exactly like what this family race looks like.
Mm-hmm.
So he said that there's been multiple injuries, so it sounds like it's like very competitive,
very cutthroat.
They talked about like there's been injuries.
Mm-hmm.
And they also talked about how like there's a couple brothers that grew up together and now they're like paying off their kids to like team up on the other brothers. Like the uncles are like going after each other to make sure they don't win. And like tackling them or like tripping them at the start of the race.
Mm-hmm.
Seems like it would be a fun tradition, especially the added like side of a barefoot race around the
Barefoot
house.
almost makes it easier though, because if you're wearing socks, it's much slipperier.
But like you wouldn't just have socks on, you'd have like shoes on.
Oh, wait, this is outside or inside?
Outside.
Oh, I thought it was inside.
Like, oh yeah, no, outside around the house.
Around the outside of the house.
Yep.
Okay.
I guess I should have clarified that part.
Which sounds awful in the Christmas weather.
For sure.
Maybe they live somewhere nice.
Snow. No, I think they said that it's like cold out. That's why they make them do it barefoot.
Oh. Yeah. I would, oh my gosh. Can you imagine marrying into a family like that? Like you'd be fine. like for me, if I showed up to a boyfriend, fiance, husband's house for Christmas the first time and they go, all right, take off your shoes and socks. It's time for the present race. You're like,
what are you talking about?
Into this? Like, I'd be like, absolutely not.
Yeah.
Just no.
I guess you could just like DQ yourself and be like, I'm not doing it. I'll be last. Like,
Which, I mean, you like the first like 4 or 5 times, you probably just have to do it.
I feel like there's so much that comes from like meeting families for the first time and then like the first Christmas together. Like
Mhm.
yeah, that was a good, I can't even imagine like marrying into that or like first time you meet that family. Like you're
Yeah.
saying, okay, take your shoes off. What do you mean I have to take my shoes off? Like,
I know. Actually, going back to the combined family camping trip, the first one you ever went on with that trip was our first summer together.
yes.
And so we'd only been dating probably 6 months at that point. So I was like 19 or
You were
20.
19.
So you were like 22, 23. And we make the plans that you're coming on this family camping trip. And this is before my parents had a motorhome. So we were in a cabin, but it was a one-room cabin,
Yeah, it was a one-room cabin and it was like pretty cramped and tiny.
extremely cramped and tiny.
And you have 2 brothers.
Yes.
So there was 5 of your family plus me.
Mhm. I mean, not a very nice cabin, if we're being real. There's definitely a mouse running around.
Yeah,
Maybe multiple.
multiple mouse for sure.
Multiple mice running
And
around.
multiple mice running
Yeah.
around and hot. It was like the middle of July in Eastern Washington, which is like almost 100 degrees every day, like
Yeah.
sunny. And your dad was like very adamant, like, you will not be sleeping in the same bed as my daughter to me.
Mhm.
And I'm like, yes, sir. Got it. Like very like understand, got it to the point. And he's like, you got to sleep on this cot. And he like put me in like the far opposite corner of the room compared to like where you were sleeping to just
Yep.
be like, don't try to get any funny business. And I like remember like laying on this cot and trying to get comfortable, and I kept moving around like so many times to try to get comfortable.
And every time you would move, and this cot was probably 15 years
Oh,
old
at
from when
least.
my brothers were doing their Boy Scout days.
Oh yeah. And like every time I moved, it would make the like loudest like
Yeah.
and finally your dad was just like, Mike, stop moving in that cot. And I was like, I'm trying really hard.
It was like 2:00 in the morning.
Oh yeah. I feel like a mouse, like literally at that point, came running across the cabin. You could hear it like scurrying.
Mhm.
And it like definitely felt like it was getting close to the cot that I was on. And I jumped up out of it. And at that point, your dad like had just like totally like lost all the patience of me like trying to fall asleep. And he's just like, hey, I'll let you sleep in the same bed, but like you need to have a sleeping bag up there. You can't be like under the covers.
He's like, separate sleeping
Yeah.
bags.
And I'm like, yes, sir. And I like went up there and laid down and fell asleep like almost instantly because I was so
Yeah.
tired. But definitely like I remember that just being so like so funny.
Yes.
That stinking cot.
I know. But there we go. There's a shared family tradition memory. So it works.
It did. And that's like something we always laugh about.
Yes, we do. I do want to hear your family traditions, rituals, special things that you do. So in the comments, let us know. You can pass around cute ideas. Valentine's Day is coming up. That is such a good opportunity to do something fun and special, start a new tradition. It's never too late to start a new tradition. Even if your kids are older, I feel like you can still add in things and start new, fun family memories together. I think we typically don't do things for Valentine's Day, but I am planning on doing a little fancy dinner with the kids and lighting some candles at the table and letting them use real champagne glasses for
Ooh.
sparkling cider and maybe do a little fancy dinner,
Oh, that's
steak
fun.
and something.
I like that idea.
Wear fancy clothes.
Little bow tie. Tatum loves a chance to get a bow tie on.
Yes, he does. He used to always wear a bow tie when he met Santa. Just so
Adorable.
sweet.
And then that stopped.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
maybe we'll get him to go back to bow tie for Valentine's Day.
It could be cute.
That would be.
Yeah. All right. So that was episode 3. Again, this is a super new podcast, kind of venturing out into something new. So the more ratings you can give us, comments, subscribes is all super helpful. But we appreciate those who are listening in and enjoying our themes.
Yeah, it's been fun kind of doing this with you, and I'm enjoying this.
Me too. Again, I have not decided on next week's theme. I will probably decide the day before or the morning before, morning of, because I just like to do what's trending and what's current
Yeah,
and what's kind of going on in the world of social media that we can talk about.
for sure. Or if you guys have a suggestion for a theme, let us know in the comments and we can run with that.
Yes, for sure. Okay, that wraps it.
All right. See you guys later.
Thank you so much for listening. This is a brand new podcast, so your support means so much to us. Subscribe, leave a rating, leave a comment. We can't wait to join you again next week on Monday.